Carl.
Hey man, how are you?
I'm doing
Good to
good.
meet you.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Fantastic. So, Carl, how was your day so far?
Yeah, it's been great, man. Really good.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Carl, tomorrow your new album, In Resonance Nexus, is to be out. So, would you like to tell me a bit on the songwriting and production behind this new album?
Sure. Yeah, I mean this album was written over quite a long period of time. We it was kind of like something that we came together to do almost over the COVID sort of era during those lockdowns. So it took us probably from 20 the summer 2020 round to around the summer of 2023
Yeah.
to sort of craft a bunch of songs and choose the 10 that are on the record now. And in terms of the songwriting, the sort of the sort of genesis of the songs generally came from Owen, one of the guitar players in the band,
Mhm.
and he would then share them with Joe and I. You know, he would record demos, share them, and then Joe and I would work on top lines, and then Owen and Joe would kind of collaborate on sort of guitar counterparts, and then to some degree the three of us would look at sort of song form, any additional ideas. But yeah, this time Owen really wanted to do something that was more metallic, more aggressive, and just over the years he had really got his home production chops up, so he could truly write and realize his creative vision sort of on his own.
Fantastic, fantastic. And this In Resonance Nexus has a concept or a theme behind it?
Yeah, I mean the the concept behind the title is really the idea of what it means to find lifelong creative partners and the joy of working with people when you find that. So that idea of resonance, where it feels like you're aligned in tune, and the nexus is kind of what emerges from
Mhm.
that place. And just because it took, there were a lot of false starts in terms of us writing a follow up to four, and it there was a very long gap between our ArcTanGent album, which came out in 2000.
Yeah.
We sort of split up for a while, didn't do anything till 2011, put out a little EP, and four came out in 2013. So it's been over a decade since we did that, and so there were periods of time where it felt like earthtone9 wouldn't be a band anymore, it wouldn't be a new um, we wouldn't be doing new creative work. Um, and so it just it felt it felt really important to acknowledge this thing in the name, because we are, you know, we're not a young band anymore. We've been doing things for a long time, and so the fact that we're still doing it is something that's worthy of note.
And a fantastic cover art that goes behind this album. So,
Mm-hmm.
is it what exactly is the cover art that is picturizing this album?
Well, our the main guy at Candlelight, who's actually just sort of moved to pastures new. He was, when we were talking about what we wanted the album to look like, and that we wanted to do a bunch of sort of fresh stuff, as in new to the band, newish kind of imagery, new sort of vibes, give people a new look. Um, he suggested this chap called Colin Marks, who had done a bunch of killer album artwork, and so this guy's, you know, doing really high level, um, I guess it's multimedia stuff. And Owen and I were fans of Dave McKean, who's like a comic book guy who did the front covers for Sandman.
Mm.
Did he may have also done Demanufacture by Fear Factory. You know, like really significant metal albums. And so this Colin isn't isn't doing a pastiche or mimicry of that style, but when we saw that it was sort of this multimedia, quite illustrative, detailed work, and we'd seen examples of his portfolio, I really just sent him some examples of the lyrics and explained to some degree what the concept of the album was, and then caveated it by saying, you know, we don't want this to be high concept. We want it to be like a visually striking thing. And so he sent us some stuff that he had created specifically for the album, but there was just this one piece that was really standing out, this stark figure, with the sort of its heart or its torso created by a sort of not created, replaced by a hole with a crow or a raven in it. And in a lot of folk mythology, crows and ravens are messengers of the gods. So the idea that this guy had that black bird sitting in his heart space just felt really powerful. And so yeah, there was that. And then on some of the other panels within the album, there's this idea of the heart chakra and the throat chakra. So like just those being sort of proxies for authenticity and authentic expression, and then the voice is the kind of the amplifier for that creativity and expression. And so that's really the through line of the underlying why of the album and the visual representation.
Fantastic. And as we spoke, like tomorrow is the release of the album, but do you guys have any special plans for the release day?
Not so much for the release date, other than, you know, it's been a long time coming, and we're just so excited for this new music to be out in the world, both on CD and vinyl and on streaming platforms. So there's loads of really killer reviews coming in, and you know, we're going to be sharing that with our audience and doing everything we can to reach new people.
Fantastic. And speaking on the album, 10 mind-blowing metal awesomeness, like each and everything was beautifully done in this album. The songwriting, the vocals, the musicianship, it all came together so beautiful, a fantastic album as a whole to listen to. So I want to thank you guys so much for putting up this amazing album this year. As a band, what are your thoughts on this album, and how do you feel about the outcome of this new album?
I mean, I'm stoked that we are still a band, that we got to make an album, and you know, we believed in what we were doing, but because we were doing it kind of like in a vacuum on our own, there were points where we didn't know if it was going to see the light of day or if it was just for us as a kind of personal expression and personal enrichment thing. And so, you know, it feels like the realization of something that at various points seemed impossible. And you know, that's a form of magic that we've been summoning this thing, and it's come out in the world. And it you know, it took a lot of heart, a lot of energy, a lot of tenacity, and we've crafted these songs, and we honed in on the songs that were the most coherent, that hung together. So it just feels like the strongest, most consistent release that we've produced in the almost 30 years of our existence, which, you know, at this stage of the game is kind of unexpected.
And just speaking on the touring, do you have some big international touring plans for this year and next year?
You know, we don't have anything scheduled, but we aspire to do that. We've been more of a project than a band for quite a long time, and by quite a long time, you know, I mean multiple decades. And so you know, we want to take this music to people. We want to play to our fans. We want to win over new fans. We think we've done created a really cool body of work that stands up against the biggest and best that are out there at the moment. And so we want to tour. We want to play shows, and you know, we were fortunate to do a lot of really good touring back in the day. We played with Soulfly for a month. We played with Fear Factory for a month, but a lot of that was kind of like in Western Europe and the UK. And you know, the metal scene is global, all around the world. So there are lots of places that we haven't had an opportunity to go to and experience and hang with the metal fans in various regions. So that's something that we would love to do.
Fantastic, fantastic. And you have also made two official music videos for Oceanic Drift and Navison Record. Would you like to
Yep.
tell me a bit on the making of these videos?
Yeah, sure. The Oceanic Drift was a combination of band performance, and then there was a little bit of narrative in there. So the narrative there was kind of like about the trial of Sisyphus, which is this idea of having to carry a rock up a hill to find it back at the bottom of the hill the next morning. So like the endless grind. And so there were elements of that in the lyrics. And when the videographer sort of suggested it felt like a cool thing to explore and put in there. And you know, it's powerful iconography as well. The idea of struggle, the idea of overcoming. You know, it felt appropriate given what I've just told you about the length of time that it's taking us to get this material to the point where we felt ready to release it, and then find a label partner who wanted to work with us in the way that we wanted to work. So yeah, that it felt like a real statement of intent to put that video out. And then yeah, the second one, Navison, is more of it's a kind of almost like a visualizer. So it's kind of like animated. It's done from stock footage. But yeah, the Navison record is just about what it asks the question, you know, what is reality? Is reality curated? Is reality governed by people in authority that get to say what reality is? And what can arise from dissenting voices? I think the strength of any democracy or any civilization is the space that it will allow for dissenting voices, because something that's strong and centered within itself can accept those things and work from a place that diversity of opinion adds richness to life and to the world. You know, there's obviously a fracture point where you might have there might be such a significant philosophical divide that it is no longer productive. But it was really talking about that. So the song has an intensity to it and a chaoticness to it and a sort of claustrophobic quality to it, because it's yeah, it's that's the energy and feel of the song and of the lyrics. How can you know what's real when you're constantly being bombarded by an excess of information, which at this point in time is there's too much information for humans to comfortably pass, to absorb. And it's such a new paradigm in terms of the manner in which we consume information, the amount of information there, that we're only just beginning to learn about the effects that it might be having on people's well-being, people's worldviews, their ability to interact. And so it's, you know, it's gonna, I think it's like an emerging issue or challenge that I think is gonna be significant in the future. So it felt like a cool and interesting thing to write a song about.
And earthtone9's history goes way back to 1998 when it all started, and decades of music. I know there's a lot of up and down over the years, but still you guys are giving us amazing music. And how do you feel about this long road that you have traveled so far?
I mean, it feels extraordinary to me, because you know, I joined that band when I was 22 years old, And so I don't know if I expected it to be like one of the prime creative avenues that I would have for my entire life. At this point, I've been in this band for more than half of my life, and even if we weren't active, I was thinking about our music, listening about our music, wondering what a possible future might be, reminiscing about the cool stuff that had happened, or I'd be hanging out with the people that were part of it. And so it's one of the most significant things in my life. And yeah, to be sitting here more than a quarter of a century after we started, and for people to still be interested in what we're doing, for people to still want to talk to us about our new work, is it's just beyond rad. I love it. And so yeah, I mean, music's the best. To have a life in music is, it's also the best, and it's an absolute sort of blessing.
Fantastic. And now the album is going to be out tomorrow. So will there be more works in bringing new music in the coming years?
Yeah, man. I mean, the process of writing for this album, going back a step, we kind of wrote and discarded probably 2 albums worth of material before 2020. And so for this writing session, I think we wrote between 30 and 40 songs, and some were more finished than others. Some were like works in progress. And so we've got a really exciting and diverse body of work that we can use as a springboard for future releases. I think we'll continue to write new material because it feels like new material, because it feels like we're on a roll at the moment. But we've also done lots of foundational work. So yeah, it's not going to be another 11 years until we get a new record. I mean, if anything, it would be really cool to go back to what we did in our our first phase, where we did an album a year, just because it's great to be creative and always on the boil, always going. And writing 10 songs a year doesn't feel like an impossible thing. And like I said to you, we've got killer material in the bank that just needs to be developed. And the cool thing with albums is it's not just about how good individual songs are, it's about how it hangs together as a piece of work, about the pacing, the feel, the consistency and the coherence of the songs that you choose to put together. So yeah, it feels like it's not like we want to just, oh, that's done now because it only comes out tomorrow. We're excited about it. We want to talk to people about it, celebrate that work, take it to people, and see what happens from that. But we also want to have one eye on future releases.
Fantastic, Karl. And Karl, finally, any message that you have at this point for the fans around the world?
Sorry, say that again.
Do you have a message for the fans around the world?
Yeah, I mean, from what we've been seeing in our own sort of social ecosystem, we've just been blown away by the positive response and the fact that so many of those people are still active and care about what we're doing. So it feels really exciting, really exciting and heartwarming that we get to make the shift from being what we were often considered as a heritage band, because we hadn't put any new material out. We would just play shows, play 20-year-old material, but now it feels like we're a real band, like a current band again. And that's like I mentioned before, we didn't know if we would ever get back to that space. And so it's just a thank you. And thanks for staying on the journey with us, and that there's loads more that we're going to do, and stay on board for the ride.
Fantastic. And Karl, I want to thank you so much for giving me today this wonderful opportunity to have you on this interview. And thanks to you and the entire band for putting up this awesome album, In Resonance Nexus, that's going to be out tomorrow. Like I said earlier, fantastic album. Totally loving each and every song from this album. Thanks for the musical awesomeness.
Thank you so much.
Giving us over the years.
Yeah.
And wishing you all the best, Karl. Take care of yourself and have a
Thank
great
you. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to talk to you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a
Bye-bye.
great. Bye-bye.
Bye.